the kind that shakes the walls of sports talk studios and fills the airwaves with disbelief. What just happened in Cleveland wasn't a trade. It wasn't a contract dispute. It wasn't even a scandal. It was something far more seismic. It was a statement. A declaration that loyalty in today's NFL means nothing when the system is rotten from the inside. Forget everything you thought you knew about rookie contracts, about the myth of team loyalty, about the so-called honor of wearing a franchise's colors. Because what Shedeur Sanders just did has rewritten the rules of professional football. And the Cleveland Browns? They're left in ruins. This wasn't a slow collapse. It was an implosion. Imagine being the Cleveland Browns, a team haunted by decades of failure, a team that has turned quarterback misfortune into a twisted kind of art form. You've endured humiliation after humiliation. Tim Couch sacked into retirement, Johnny Manziel's carnival of chaos, Baker Mayfield's rise and fall, and the never-ending shadow of the Deshaun Watson debacle. Each name stitched onto that cursed jersey like a headstone on a graveyard of broken dreams. Yet somehow you still believe. You still convince yourself that one day the football gods will take pity. And then, finally, a savior arrives. Shedeur Sanders, the golden son of primetime himself. The kid who had swagger before he had stubble. The name, the charisma, the poise, the arm, everything Cleveland has begged for since the Reagan administration. The Browns didn't just draft him. They worshipped him. They rolled out the red carpet, handed him a historic rookie deal worth over $100 million, and sold hope like oxygen to a dying city. The fans believed this was the moment the curse ended. Shedeur wasn't just a quarterback. He was prophecy fulfilled, and then without a word, he was gone. No press conference, no statement, no leaks. One day his locker was full, the next it was stripped bare. The face of the franchise had vanished into the ether. The same fans who had flooded the streets to welcome him were now standing in disbelief, clutching his jersey and asking the same haunting question. Why? The answer, as it turns out, was buried deep in the third and final preseason game, the night that changed everything. That was when Shedeur Sanders stopped being the future of the Cleveland Browns and became the latest victim of their dysfunction. While other rookie QBs were getting reps with starters, Shedeur was tossed into the fourth quarter with a practice squad offensive line that couldn't block a stiff breeze. Every snap was a survival test. 4 sacks. Countless hits. No protection. No respect. It wasn't a learning experience, and it was a setup. A public sacrifice. And watching from the sideline was Kevin Stefanski, the stoic, calculated coach whose entire persona seemed to crack in real time. When the final whistle blew, the whispers began. He's not ready. He's holding the ball too long. He's trying to protect his stats. Even veterans on the team started feeding the media little quotes that cut deeper than they realized. He needs to learn you can't play like it's college anymore. They called it mentorship. It was sabotage. They were preparing the narrative for Shedeur's downfall before he'd even had a chance to rise. He walked away from the money, from the spotlight, from the illusion. He walked away from a contract that would have made him a millionaire overnight because he understood something most rookies never do, that a broken system can't be fixed from the inside. Shedeur didn't quit football. He quit Cleveland. And Kevin Stefanski? The man lost his mind. Sources from inside the Browns facility describe a scene straight out of a meltdown movie. The calm robotic coach was gone. In his place was a red-faced man pacing the hallways, shouting, demanding answers. Where is he? Who let this happen? Staffers were frozen. Assistants tried to reason with him, but there was no reasoning left. He was watching his entire legacy, the playbook he built, the future he promised, collapse in real time. His golden boy had ghosted him, and for once there was no analytics chart to save him. Behind closed doors, chaos reigned. Some blamed the front office. Others whispered about locker room politics. But everyone knew the truth. The Browns had done it again. They had taken the most promising young quarterback in the league and driven him out before his first start. Shedeur's decision wasn't impulsive. It was genius, strategic, calculated. He saw the writing on the wall, the same way every great player who's ever been burned by a bad franchise wishes they had. He knew about the Watson contract, the financial anchor that guaranteed no matter how good he was, he'd never be the guy. The front office would never admit they made a $230 million mistake. No matter how many touchdowns Shedeur threw, Watson's paycheck would always speak louder. That's not competition. That's a cage, and he wasn't going to live in it. He didn't want to be another Baker Mayfield, cheered one week and discarded the next. He didn't want to be another chapter in the factory of sadness. He wanted to be more, a brand, a legacy, a player who controlled his destiny. He looked at that 9-figure contract and saw what it really was, a trap. And with one silent move, he became the first player in modern NFL history to outsmart the curse. The city lost its mind. Sports radio erupted. Fans raged, cried, and rationalized. Some called Shedeur a quitter. Others called him a genius. But the common thread in every conversation was heartbreak. Because deep down, every Cleveland fan knew he was right. They'd seen this movie before. The false hope, the new era, the inevitable collapse. It always ends the same way. The Browns breaking another quarterback. The memes flooded social media within minutes. Photoshop edits of Shedeur's face added to that cursed jersey of fallen Browns QBs. National commentators laughed. ESPN panels debated whether he was bold or arrogant. Rival fan bases mocked the Browns' misfortune. And through it all, Shedeur said nothing. No tweets, no interviews. Just silence. The kind of silence that echoes louder than any press conference ever could. And that's what made it powerful. In a league where rookies are expected to beg for validation, Shedeur chose self-respect. He flipped the power dynamic on its head. He showed the entire NFL that walking away doesn't make you weak. It makes you free. That sometimes the strongest move is no move at all. Kevin Stefanski, meanwhile, is standing on the edge of oblivion. His once calm demeanor replaced by sleepless nights and questions with no answers. The front office looks clueless. The fans have turned restless. And the one player who could have saved them is gone. The Browns are right back where they always end up, hopeless, broken, and searching for the next false prophet to sell. But Shedeur Sanders? He's already moved on. His brand has never been stronger. His name, his silence, his decision, all of it elevated him from prospect to phenomenon. He didn't lose a franchise. He gained leverage. He didn't end his story. He took control of it. He didn't escape Cleveland's curse by luck. He outsmarted it, and maybe that's the lesson here, that loyalty to a broken system isn't courage. It's surrender. Shedeur Sanders refused to surrender. He refused to be another victim of history, and in doing so, he made history of his own. So now, the question isn't what happens to the Browns. We already know that story. The question is, where does Shedeur go next? Which team will he bless with the future Cleveland just fumbled away? And how long until Kevin Stefanski becomes the next casualty of the curse? Tell me what you think. Was this the boldest power move in NFL history, or did Shedeur Sanders abandon his team when they needed him most? Let's hear it in the comments below. And if you want the unfiltered truth the mainstream sports media won't touch, make sure to like this video, hit that subscribe button, and turn on notifications. Because the Browns may be out of saviors, but this story is far from over, and you won't want to miss what happens next.